All right, so let's begin by saying that this is the anterior aspect of the brain. And if I turn it around, you'll be able to appreciate that this is the posterior aspect of the brain. Well, how do we know this? This is called the cerebellum. So let's start identifying some structures. Let's talk about the lobes. So this is the frontal lobe, all of this. Right here you have the parietal lobes. This one is the temporal lobe, the occipital lobe, and this one right here, this is called the insula. So all of this, that's your insula. For you to identify this, you need to take off this structure right here, and it's deep. That's the insula. So now let's talk about the structures and landmarks. All right, so this right here, that's called the longitudinal fissure, and it's very long. This one right here that goes from side to side, this is called the central sulcus. This one, it goes by two names. The old school name, that's called the Sylvian fissure, and now they're calling it the lateral sulcus. It is important to mention that the raised portions of the brain, the little mountains, those are called the gyrus or gyri. One is plural, one is singular. And the indentations, those shallow depressions, the ones that look like this, all of these, those are called sulci or sulcus. Again, one is singular, the other one is plural. Right, so now let's start identifying some structures of the brain. Let's put this aside. All right, I'm gonna zoom in. All right, so let's start identifying some structures. First of all of this, that's called your cerebrum. And this right here, that's your cerebellum. So cerebrum and cerebellum. All right, so this right here, that's called the corpus callosum. All of this, that's the corpus callosum. This is the anterior commissure, and that's the posterior commissure. So corpus callosum, anterior commissure, posterior commissure. Let's talk about this. If your professor asks you for the space is the lateral ventricle. However, if your professor asks you for the structure, this is called the septum pellucidum. Septum means a partition or a wall, so it acts like a wall from this side of the brain from the other half of the brain. So structure is the septum pellucidum, the space is the lateral